watching the Go Crying the Walk-In podcast. I'm Chef Cholo, and you already know, as usual, we are powered by Hospitality News Magazine and Hospitality News Magazine Online. If you're into the food scene, if you're into the restaurant scene, if you want to see pictures of cool people or where they were hanging out last night, look no further than the Hospitality News Magazine and Hospitality News Magazine Online. If you like anything that you're watching, please hit the like button and subscribe. And if you want to share it with one of your people, please do that for me. Today we have a local businessman, my brother Ken from the Pasta People. What do you say, man?
Hey,
I'm not going to try and pronounce your last name. What is that last name?
Morakkabi.
Morakkabi.
It's Turkish and Italian. It's
Turkish and Italian.
Like a mutt. It's like a mutt mix.
We're all mutts, brother. We're all mutts, man. So Ken owns a local company that produces fresh pasta for restaurants, not just homes,
Pasta
right?
and ravioli.
Is this only for restaurants, or like people could buy it for the house and bring it to the crib?
The past couple of years, I've got a lot of requests for people that wanted to do it, to take it home. And we opened up an office on Sunrise, and people were coming in.
Like a retail store.
I never had a retail store prior.
But they were just coming to the office.
They would just come to the office to pick up product, and
the receptionist was sitting there.
My wife and my daughter.
Yes,
my
that's
sister.
how it works over there. You got to make money,
right,
brother?
They said, let's put a freezer in and make it a little easier on us. So
you had a little freezer.
Yeah.
You come in and one lobster ravioli.
Now
No, we'd have to sell it. People just coming to you. They want it.
Well, they heard. Well, once you put pasta, everybody wants to see what it is.
Everybody wants
it's
to
not like
know.
a little bakery. It's a little unusual. Like
Right.
in Italy, there's pasta shops all over.
Is that right?
Yeah. It's like a Starbucks.
You been to Italy, or you from Italy?
No, I've been to Italy. When we got married, I went to Rome, Florence.
You were a chef by trade, or no? This is like a family thing.
It's a family thing. I got into it as a pantry man, actually.
What do you mean a pantry man?
Well, I started when I was 16,
We all
working
did.
part-time.
Where?
In Renee's of Great Neck.
Really? Renee's and Great Neck?
Renee's of Great Neck.
Oh, that's a famous
He
restaurant.
He actually had a place, it was in Glen Cove. It was Renee's of Glen Cove he had one. This
Yeah.
is going back in the 70s.
This is a long time ago.
Yeah. So
this is like Link's Log Cabin days. Remember Link's Log Cabin?
It's showing my age.
Dominic, you don't know Link's Log Cabin. Best chocolate mousse on Long Island. At 3 years old, I was on my mom. My mom was holding me. I threw up on a woman's fur coat. That's my Link's Log Cabin story. Anyway, go ahead, Kenny. I'm sorry.
So the
regress.
next door to this restaurant was a pasta shop that just opened up. The owners were from Italy. They came over, and he had a little pasta machine. And I was working outside, and he said, "Do you want to make some pasta for me?" Because I was going back and forth.
Right.
And I said, "Let me give it a shot. I'll look in." I went inside, and it was a little pasta. I've never made pasta before, but
You mean like a little thing, like a little tabletop machine, or like
it was a little bit bigger than a tabletop. It was an extruder.
extruder?
Yeah,
So he mixed it by hand, and then he had an extruder.
I had a little, mixed with a little flour mixed up, and goes into it's like a meat grinder, like a small one. I remember it was a hot summer day. I remember. And this machine had a little fan in front of it, so I could sit in front of the fan, and as the pasta come out, I would just cut it and
Wasn't
put
a
it on
bad
the
job.
tray. That's how it started.
All right. So, but you had like made pasta at home as a kid, like your grandmother
My
was like a
mom-
cook
my
or
mom used to make
something.
pasta,
So
my
you've
father
seen
used
it
to make-
happen.
Yes, it's in the blood. It's
in the blood.
It's in the blood.
I like it. So like, but then like now you talk about making pasta, but now you have like these raviolis and totally you got to make fillings now.
That I got into later.
So that was like first it was just shapes.
First it was the shapes, it was the extruded long items, and he had accounts in Manhattan. And
What about something like gnocchi? How,
Well, now I do.
that right?
Now I make
gnocchi.
gnocchi.
How do I pronounce that?
Gnocchi. Some people say gnocchi. Some people say
See, I'm
gnocchi.
not Italian. I'm
It's
married
gnocchi.
to an Italian. I wish I was Italian like every other white guy, but I'm not. But I'll live through you for a minute.
It's gnocchi.
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 Yeah, it's amazing. Like they take one pasta shape, and there'll be 4 different names on it, but it's the same item. You know, different regions in Italy will call it a different name.
But the base recipe is the same.
The recipe is the same. Some vary. Some like northern Italy is a little bit. It's a little bit. They use a different potato. It becomes very.
Now I went on
regional.
I went on your web page and I was looking around like what is the difference? Like people want to know. Like they hear semolina. Like what does that mean? Why does that make pasta better than just like a other kind of flour?
Well, it's all derivative of a wheat. From the wheat, the outside kernel of the wheat is the whole wheat, which is the darker skin on the outside of the wheat.
Okay.
So now when you mill it, The next layer would be a semolina, which is a coarser mill.
So it's all the same
It's
product.
all the same product, but
it's
it's
at a
milled
different
differently.
stage.
Correct. And the fine is the durum, which is milled.
No,
Much fine, like
that's
like a
all-purpose,
powder.
like what we use at home, like all-purpose
Correct.
flour. Or what about Trump
no,
flour?
but
What
no.
is Trump flour? What is like pizza flour? Or
Okay,
bread
it has a high gluten content.
more gluten.
There's more gluten in the product. Okay.
Kenny's a smart guy, Dominic.
So
You
now,
know that, right?
now they have
It's a
you hear
science
like
to
the
flour.
00 flour, which is a big Italy. Everybody has to use the 00 flour.
When making pasta.
Now this is not pizza now.
No,
'Cause it's
not pizza.
No. When you make pasta, a lot of people say use the 00 flour.
Okay.
Or when you make pizza, use the double. It's from Italy, really. All it is, it's durum that's milled even finer.
Super fine.
It's super fine. So you
Okay.
get a nice, smooth,
You
rich,
get good
rich taste.
good crumb inside the dough
Absolutely.
like that. Right.
Oh, it's delicious. Yeah.
And then like why is everyone brag that they use a bronze die? Why is that important?
Okay. When you use a bronze, because the dyes are.
That's what cuts the shapes.
No, it doesn't cut it. The pasta gets pushed with a great deal of pressure.
Okay.
Behind the machine, the auger, it's a big worm, it's like a big meat grinder.
So it doesn't have any cracks in it or anything, I guess, right?
Yeah. Well, the dye, as the pasta comes through
The
the
dye's
dye.
the worm. Oh no, the
No,
dye's
the
the
auger
hole.
is the worm.
Okay.
The auger is the worm. The dye sits in front of the auger and it's clamped down.
Like on a meat grinder.
Like a meat grinder. So as the meat is going through, is the pasta now going through.
Pasta dough,
The
not meat.
As it comes, as the extrusion happens, the brass is on the rough side, on the inside of the die.
Okay.
So as the pasta comes through, it forms like little layers of skin,
Like the ridges you
like
see.
ridges of a snake.
Okay.
Okay, and it's very microscopic. But what happens is it holds the sauce.
That's what holds the
Holds the
sauce in
sauce.
macaroni.
Wow.
Now you can have.
Microscopic.
Wow.
You heard
Micros-
that?
Interesting.
Now,
Microscopic.
what you can if you now they make dyes, you can have the same dye. Let's say a fusilli, a rigatoni dye,
Rigatoni dye.
rigatoni, and you can have it Teflon. So what they do is, before the pasta hits the brass itself, which is the shape of the rigatoni,
Right.
they put a layer of Teflon around the shape so it becomes really smooth.
It cranks through there easy.
But it just looks, presentation is nice. The color is more brilliant.
of the pasta.
It's like if you sanded a piece of wood,
Uh-huh.
all right, and you varnished it, it's a whole different look than was just finely
So
sanded.
not just bronze, Teflon bronze.
Teflon-coated bronze dyes.
Like the Teflon Don himself.
Correct. Now you have different applications for different products. You know, if you want to show.
Kenny, you like the Teflon Don of pasta? I think
Well,
you may
I
be.
can't say anything.
I seen that sizzle reel you made with my friend Anthony.
That was a
Cambria.
while ago. That was a
good
while
one.
ago. I wish it took off. I wish they picked it. I thought it was fun.
You know
It was
what?
fun.
That was before. That was a long time ago because
like
Anthony
11
hasn't
years
had
ago.
that restaurant in a while.
11 years ago.
Social media wasn't what it was, but you know what?
No.
It's never too late for that sizzle reel.
That was like my 15 minutes of fame.
Maybe I should. Maybe we'll put it on the end. Maybe we give it to my
I'll
man
put the
Abe,
whole
the master engineer. He could snatch it into the end. There. You never know. I was almost afraid to have him on the show today, Dominic, because I thought he was going to steal my thunder. You know what I mean? He's very, very charismatic man, my brother Ken. Hey, it's your boy Chef Cholo from the Go Crying to Walk In podcast. And if you're like me, you yearn for that old school relationship between purveyors and chefs. Nowadays, they got me going on a website, looking up my own orders, placing my own orders. I don't even know if the thing's going to get delivered the next day. I got nobody to talk to. If you're looking for that old school service with aggressive pricing, look no further than American Food Connection. What you do is you call the number at the bottom of the screen, you ask for Danny, and you get it straight. You already know. So you brought things for Chef Cholo today.
I bought a couple of unusual items, the
Unusual.
one-off items. You know, I try to be a little different.
Let's
you
hear
know.
it. What do we
All right,
got?
Let's see. This is a new dye I just did. This is called a casarecce. It's almost.
I'm going to try and pronounce that. Casarecce.
Casarecce.
I
what
kind of like that.
It's like an S shape. If you look at it fine, but what it does, it holds the sauce on both sides. You can't see it, but if you open it up, it actually holds the sauce on each side.
So
of
it's
the
like
product.
it's like a
long-
tube, but it has a slice in there.
Correct.
And the
Correct.
sauce goes inside.
Correct.
These
So-
are coming home with me.
So it has a plate presentation for the restaurant. They have a beautiful plate presentation.
Let me ask
and
you.
the sauce is-
I'm going to cut right in. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
I go to the store.
Yeah.
I see fusilli. It looks like a rotini. I see fusilli. It's like the long one. What's the real fusilli? Everybody wants to know.
The fusilli is it's like a long telephone, like a telephone cord. The old telephone cords.
The long one.
The long ones. That's
those
a true
little one,
fusilli.
but they call another little one that's
the
not.
reason why that is, if you have to have an inverted pasta machine to get the long fusilli.
Do you have that?
No.
You don't have that.
Because the machine that I was.
Sorry, I didn't want to bring that up.
You have to put it's a big process.
It's heavy duty.
Yeah, because you have to it's like taking a meat grinder and turning it upside down so gravity works with you.
Is that right? That's how it makes it like that?
Correct. The gravity gives it the curl.
It's like the telephone. So that's what it's called, the telephone.
Right. So when I run that machine, for the first 2 inches, it's perfect, and then the gravity grabs it. And now
and then like kind of cuts off or something.
It becomes like squiggly.
All right, enough about fusilli because we don't even make that. Get rid of that.
This is a really
Gorgonzola and fig. How do you pronounce that?
That's a gorgonzola fig sacchetti.
Sacchetti, which is like a beggar's purse.
Which is a beggar's purse.
See, that's Italian for beggar's purse.
That's a little unusual.
We're getting a language lesson here today too. But like all the cuts, they like mean something, right? Farfalle means.
Farfalle means bow tie.
Bow tie, right?
Bow tie. This is a really nice, unusual one. And then there's
this one?
No, the one next to it. That's a mefaldini.
I've seen that before.
Okay, a mefaldini is a.
That's awesome.
Is a mefalda. Mefalda is the larger
fatter,
version,
right?
With it's ribbons. It's
ribbons.
Now, where they got the name mefalda from? Years ago, hundreds of years ago, there was the queen. There was a queen that ruled Italy. It was one of the queens of Italy. Her name was Mafalda.
And they named the pasta after her.
No, she wore a dress with ribbons.
Oh, the dress with ribbons.
They named the ribbons Mafalda. That's where the name originates from. And this is a Mafaldini. It's a smaller version of the Mafalda.
You watch a lot of TV or movies. What's your favorite movie with pasta in it, Kenny? I'm going to put you on the spot right now.
My favorite movie.
Big Night with the Tempano. You remember that? Big Night?
No.
Oh. I should have prepped you on that one, Kenny.
What a pie or something? What was it?
Oh, they make the it's like made out of all different pastas. It was like from Bologna. It's a favorite. It's like a lasagna type dish that they cook in a big pot, a bowl, like a drum, right? Timpano means drum, right? And they crack it out and they cut it. But it's in a movie. You never saw Big Night.
No,
Good
I
movie.
didn't.
You got homework tonight, Kenny.
Yeah,
Big Night.
I want to watch it tonight. Look it up.
And what about Dinner Rush with what's his name?
Danny
Aiello. Good one, right?
Yes.
Great scene where the kid's making this pasta with lobster, angel hair. Freaking awesome scene. The kid's really. I mean, some of these movies don't look like. I mean, obviously the kid. That's the only time you see him cooking. You don't see his face. It's only his hands. It's probably Anthony Bourdain back in the day making it something. Who knows? But
that's something to look into. I will definitely look them up.
So people can buy these directly from the store. Are there other like shops here locally on Long Island?
There's a couple
like gourmet places.
A couple of gourmet places that carry the product.
Like where people want to know, Kenny?
Like Pat's,
Pat's Farms.
Pat's Farm in East Islip carries a
incredible.
full line of the product. And Pat's in Northport carries it.
And it's frozen when you get it there, or it's fresh
in the
like
supermarket,
this?
It's fresh.
Really?
So when I manufacture it, when I make it, it goes right into the freezer right away.
Right away.
It just holds everything. So then now you have holding time. So you could get the product to the store. If I do a lot of wholesale, when I go to restaurants, they get it frozen. Once you slack it out, you have a week to week and a half on it.
After it's defrosted.
After it's defrosted. Week and a half to 2 weeks on a cold walk-in box.
Is that right? So by the time I get it, though, it's kind of like defrosted already.
It's frozen. You'll get it
frozen. I get it.
Once you defrost it, you have a week on it. Week to 2 weeks on it. Yep.
And you do all delivery, like your company, not you personally. I mean, I would love it if you came to the Crust.
I have two guys that do deliveries for me, and if a lot of times when they're out, I'll change hats.
So you do all your own distribution.
I do all my own distribution, all my own manufacturing. Everything I make, I sell. Everything I sell, I make.
And how long you been in business?
43 years.
43 years. That's awesome. And where's the store located?
Well, we're the factory.
Factory? West Babylon?
West Babylon, off of.
That's near Lindenhurst, right?
Yes, it's right by the.
Where do you get your hair cut, Kenny? Because you got a decent head of hair.
I used to have.
I know you had a ponytail
for years.
Where do you get your hair cut, Kenny? I hope it's the Holy Black in Lindenhurst.
No. As a matter of fact, there's it's on
Enzo the Barber.
It's in East Islip.
East Islip. You know what? I'm gonna send you on you got 3 things you got to do here today. You got to watch Big Night.
I got to get a haircut.
Dinner Rush, and you got to go see my boys over at the Holy Black in Lindenhurst. It's a special place. I'm going. Where am I going?
Wednesday.
Black, huh? Holy Black. They make They custom make all the men's hair products. It is a paradise for a
Holy
guy
Black.
to go and hang out. There's all, hunting heads hanging out.
No kidding.
And very, vintage things from the town of Lindenhurst, signs. And it's the coolest place on earth. I'm going to send you over there. Yeah, Holy Black. Shout out to the Holy Black.
The Holy Black.
So you use social media over there? You like it?
I'm more the old school fashion type, So it's
you don't got no young people working over there? Put you on the Instagram?
No.
You don't need it.
It's just word of mouth.
You got Roland. You got Roland out on the street. That's all you need.
He was a godsend for the business, Roland.
He's awesome in the sizzle reel too.
Awesome.
I don't think I'm forgetting about you in the
chef,
sizzle reel, Roland.
Roland had an idea. This is, I would go to restaurants, manufacture. I make it, So Roland comes and has this incredible vision. And what's the vision, Roland? He goes, "I want to take your product and do demos in the restaurant. Put it in their mouths with the sauce, with the way you want it presented."
That's how I made him so famous.
Incredible.
I see you've embarrassed your guy because he called me this morning, Roland. You've embarrassed the other guy. He called me this morning. He probably wants to come over and do a demo now. Thanks to you. Oh, don't act like you don't know who I'm talking about. Okay. Don't act like you don't know. I'm not going to mention his name, even though it's the same as mine. Anyway, Kenny, thanks for coming in, hanging out a couple of minutes for me today.
It was fun.
You're an awesome guy.
I didn't know how I was going to go, but this is
you didn't work sure,
I'm not
right?
going to interview you, but it was actually pretty good.
Listen, at the end of the day, at least you'll start selling macaroni and ravioli to the Crest Hollow Country Club.
There you go.
Right, Roland? All right, brother. Awesome.
Right.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Kenny.
you very much for having me.
All right. You've been watching the Go Crying to Walk In podcast. I'm Chef Cholo, and you already know. Like, subscribe. Thank you.